Kalea is a fighter support hybrid in Mobile Legends, designed to initiate fights, control enemies, and sustain her team with healing effects. While her primary role is roamer, she can also be played in the jungle, using her sustained damage, mobility, and ability to disrupt team fights. Her passive, Surging Tides, allows her to create water zones whenever she casts a skill. If she casts another skill inside a water zone, she absorbs it, enhancing her next 3 basic attacks and healing both herself and the lowest health ally nearby. This mechanic gives her strong sustain and extra power in extended fights. Her first skill, Wave Breaker, deals area damage and slows enemies, making it useful for clearing jungle camps and controlling fights. Her second skill, Tide Crash, allows her to dash forward, grab an enemy, and slam them into the ground, dealing damage and knocking them up. This is her main engage tool for both jungle skirmishes and team fights. Finally, her ultimate is a powerful crowd control ability that lets her disrupt multiple enemies at once. In this guide, we'll cover how to play Kalea in the jungle, maximizing her impact in every phase of the game. Early game. The first few minutes of the game are crucial for Kalea, as her jungle clear and early pressure can set the pace for the match. Your primary goal is to reach level 4 quickly to unlock your ultimate, allowing you to contribute more effectively in fights. Start with the blue buff to gain mana regeneration and cooldown reduction, which will help you spam your skills and clear jungle camps more efficiently. Use Wave Breaker to deal AoE damage to the jungle monsters and reset your basic attacks between skills to speed up your clear. After securing the blue buff, move to the small jungle camp nearby, then proceed to the red buff. The red buff's extra damage and slow effect will help you in early ganks. Once you've cleared both buffs, check the river crab for additional gold and experience. While farming, watch the lanes for opportunities to gank. Kalea is excellent at initiating fights, so if you see an enemy overextended, use Tide Crash to engage and set up kills for your team. Prioritize ganking lanes where your teammates have crowd control or high burst damage, increasing the chances of securing a kill. If the enemy jungler attempts to invade, assess whether you can fight back. Kalea is strong in extended fights, but she may struggle in 1v1 situations against high-burst assassins. If you're at a disadvantage, avoid unnecessary fights and retreat safely. However, if you have backup, consider counter-invading by stealing their jungle camps to deny them resources. When the turtle spawns, decide whether to contest it. If your team has lane priority and the enemy jungler is not in position, start the turtle and use Wave Breaker to slow down approaching enemies. Secure the last hit with Retribution to ensure your team gets the buff. If the enemy has better control over the area, don't force the fight. Instead, focus on alternative plays like ganking a different lane or invading the enemy jungle. Kalea's early game is all about efficient farming, well-timed ganks, and securing objectives. A strong early performance will allow you to transition smoothly into the mid-game, where her crowd control and healing abilities become even more impactful. During the mid-game, roughly between minutes 5 to 12, Kalea's role as a jungler becomes more dynamic. While farming remains important, the focus shifts towards contesting objectives, controlling team fights, and applying map pressure. By this point, you should have secured at least one turtle, participated in successful ganks, and built a gold and experience advantage. The game will start revolving around team fights and tower control, and as a jungler, you must position yourself correctly to impact these engagements. You should also be looking for opportunities to invade the enemy jungle, stealing buffs and camps to limit the enemy jungler's resources. Every small advantage matters, and denying farm to your opponent while keeping your own jungle clear is crucial. If the enemy jungler falls behind, they won't be able to contest major objectives later on, allowing your team to dictate the flow of the game. As fights begin to happen more frequently, map awareness becomes even more critical. Keeping an eye on enemy movements, tracking their jungler, and rotating to fights at the right time will determine how successful you are during this phase. Kalea excels in fights where she can engage first, disrupting the enemy team with her control abilities while sustaining herself and her teammates. If an enemy is caught out of position, this is the perfect time to engage with Tide Crash, grabbing them and isolating them from their team. This is especially effective against squishy heroes like marksmen and mages, who are easy targets for Kalea's crowd control. If your teammates are nearby, follow up with Wave Breaker to slow the enemy and ensure that your team can finish them off before they have a chance to escape. Picking off a key target before an objective fight can give your team a huge advantage, making it easier to secure the turtle or a tower push. When preparing to contest the turtle, it is important to be in position before the enemy arrives. If you wait too long to rotate, you might arrive too late, and the enemy jungler will have an uncontested opportunity to take the objective. Stand near the turtle pit early, and make sure you have vision of nearby bushes to prevent ambushes. If the enemy jungler is in position to contest, you can try to disrupt them before they use retribution. Use Tide Crash to isolate them and prevent them from getting close enough to steal the turtle. If a fight breaks out around the objective, your job is to stay in the front line, absorbing damage while dealing as much disruption as possible. Always pay attention to your retribution cooldown and time it correctly to secure the last hit on the turtle. Losing the turtle to the enemy jungler can set your team behind, so be patient and don't use retribution too early. If the fight isn't going in your favor and the enemy team has the advantage, it is better to retreat and look for an alternative play instead of forcing a losing fight. As the match progresses into the late game, team fights become even more decisive, and a single mistake can determine the outcome of the game. By this point, both teams will have most of their core items and will be playing carefully, prioritizing objectives like the Lord and final turret pushes. Your role as Kalea in this phase is to be the frontline initiator, peeling for your teammates while disrupting the enemy carries and controlling the battlefield with your crowd control abilities. Unlike in the early and mid-game, where you could take more aggressive fights, now you must choose your battles wisely. Engaging at the wrong moment could result in you getting eliminated instantly, leaving your team vulnerable. The first priority in the late game is securing vision and controlling the map. Vision becomes even more important at this stage because a single ambush can turn the tide of the game. Avoid moving alone, as enemy assassins or burst mages can easily eliminate you if you are caught off guard. Stick with your team and always move together when contesting objectives. If your team has map control, use it to deny enemy jungle camps and buffs, making it harder for their core heroes to stay in fights for long. If the enemy team has the upper hand, focus on clearing waves safely and waiting for them to make a mistake. Positioning in fights is crucial. You are no longer just a playmaker, but also a protector for your team. While it is still your job to disrupt the enemy carries, you must also protect your marksman and mage, ensuring they have space to deal damage. If an enemy assassin dives onto your backline, use Tide Crash to grab them and throw them away from your carries, making it harder for them to secure a kill. If the enemy frontline is advancing aggressively, use Wave Breaker to slow them down, allowing your team to kite and reposition. This balance between offense and defense is what makes Kalea so valuable in the late game. The most important objective in the late game is the Lord. Unlike turtles, which provide an experience and gold boost, the Lord pushes lanes and can help secure the final towers. Before committing to the Lord, always check where the enemy team is positioned. If you see 2 or more enemies on the opposite side of the map, this is the perfect time to take Lord uncontested. However, if the enemy team is nearby, you need to control the area first before starting the objective. Use bushes for vision, and don't start Lord if your teammates aren't in position. Getting caught alone here can be disastrous. During Lord fights, you should be focusing on 2 things: zoning out the enemy jungler and keeping your damage dealers safe. If the enemy jungler is trying to contest, you must stop them from getting close to use retribution. One way to do this is by grabbing them with Tide Crash and knocking them up before they reach the pit. If your team has a strong lead, you can also force a fight before taking Lord, eliminating key enemies to make the objective secure. If the fight goes south and the enemy starts winning the engagement, it's better to retreat and regroup rather than risk getting wiped out. If your team successfully secures the Evolved Lord, push with it and apply pressure to all lanes. The goal is to make it difficult for the enemy team to defend, forcing them to commit resources to stopping the Lord while your team takes down turrets. While she may not deal as much burst damage as assassins or marksmen, her ability to lock down enemies and heal teammates makes her a valuable asset throughout all stages of a game. By playing smart, rotating efficiently, and engaging at the right moments, you can lead your team to victory and secure the win. That's everything you need to know about playing Kalea in the jungle. I hope this guide helps you dominate your ranked games and improve your skills with this unique fighter support hero. Good luck on the battlefield, and may your retribution always secure the objectives.